The 2020 Lancaster Archery Classic in full swing as we're in the final shoot-up area here in Olympic Hall at the Spooky Nook Sports Complex in Manheim, Pennsylvania. As the crowd filling in, anticipating our next match, it's time for Women's Recurve. Here's Rob Caulfield.
Hey, welcome back to the 2020 Lancaster Archery Classic. Our next division is Women's Recurve, Women's Olympic Recurve. And our fourth place seed is Rachel Reshonsky from Sterling Heights, Michigan. Let's give it up for her. She's been shooting for 18 years, and she is the mixed team national champion. Our third place seed is Mackenzie Brown from Flint, Texas. She's been shooting for 14 years. She's 2016 Olympian in Rio, Brazil. She's the 2020 Olympic hopeful on the 2020 Olympic training team. Mackenzie, would you like to shoot right or left?
Left.
Okay, and first or second?
First, please.
First, shooting left.
All right, we're ready for Women's Recurve. Greg White sitting alongside Steve Anderson. The top four qualifiers.
Crank the energy up this morning. They shoot at 11. I want to hear a cheer. All right?
Rob trying to work the crowd and people still waking up here.
It's a little early, yeah.
Just before 9 o'clock, but incredible the amount of people that have gotten up and come here to check out the archery here. As Mackenzie Brown steps up.
And Women's Recurve can be one of the more exciting events to watch. Recurve or barebow in general, anything where, you know, a 2-3 point lead isn't necessarily safe, like you see with compound, that can be really exciting for the spectator. So, and we're also going to see Rob's daughter a little later, which
We are.
will lead to some awkward interviews.
All right, Steve, let's talk about 20 yards the distance for indoor archery, but each archer choosing a different target face.
Right, so Rachel here picking the single spot, so she's going to shoot all three targets at the same face. Basically, that gets her, she has a bad shot, and you cast one out beyond the first blue 5 ring that you see on the screen. You know, or excuse me, the 6 ring, into the 5 or less, she'll still score points.
9, just out. All right, let's give them a hand. Come over here and let your nerves settle a little bit. Welcome to the stage, Lancaster Archery. How many times have you shot the Classic?
This is my first time.
First time? Are you having fun?
Yes.
Shot really well to get here. It's quite an honor and quite an accomplishment to get here to the stage. Yesterday's eliminations are really tough to get through. We'll take a moment and look at your setup. Looks like you're shooting a brand new Hoyt Exceed bow, a biter plunger, an Excel sight, Fivix stabilizers, and what finger tab? Looks like a homemade one. Yeah, very nice. Okay, we'll get started here. 30 to 26 after that first end. Mackenzie enjoys a 4-point lead, but this is recurve archery, so anything can happen.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Now, of course, Steve, we know Mackenzie. She's a 2016 Olympian. But on the other side, on the other stage, Rachel, a very experienced archer in her own right, isn't she?
Yeah, she's been a pretty experienced and successful collegiate archer. I think she'd still fit in the junior category age-wise. So she doesn't have the international experience on Team USA like Mackenzie has, but this is probably one of the starting points for her and a good building block on hopefully a long career.
And of course, we see a surge this year. Great shot. We see a surge this year in Olympic-style recurve competition because it's an Olympic year. And so the popularity starts to rise, and you start to see some of the best shooting that we get to see in a 4-year span.
You see a little shake out of Rachel there. When you're watching some of the top recurvers, they look so smooth as they pull through the clicker. And but even then, you'll see some of the best with that same shake. And it's just fairly normal. You know, they're working to pull 40-some pounds through, you know, a tiny, tiny fraction of an inch to clear the clicker, is what you'd call it. It's just a different game.
Mackenzie, let's give these gals a hand. They're shooting very well. It's tough just to keep them in the gold with an Olympic recurve. This is not easy. Mackenzie, how many pounds of draw weight are you shooting?
I'm shooting around 44, 45 pounds.
Okay. And how many shots a day are you shooting in the peak season in the spring or summer?
300 to 350 on an average day.
It's a lot of effort and a lot of training. This isn't something that you can put down for a while and just pick up like you can a compound, is it?
No, not at all. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of time to ramp up for a competition.
Right. Okay, let's look at your setup. Looks like you're shooting one of the brand new Formula XI bows from Hoyt. You're shooting Shrewd stabilizers, an Excel sight. What aperture is that?
It's the Shrewd aperture with a clear targets lens.
Very nice, very nice. And what finger tab are you shooting?
I'm shooting a Coach Laney tab as well. Coach Laney. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a pretty non-commercial custom tab. It's pretty cool looking. And I got to point out this release bag. Isn't that cool? That just makes you smile. All right. Well, let's look at things at halfway here. We're at 52 for Rachel, 61 for Mackenzie. 9-point lead at the halfway point.
So, Steve, here it's cumulative scoring at the Lancaster Archery Classic. Stark contrast to what we see, say, in World Archery, for instance, or USA Archery.
Right. So here at Lancaster, they're going to shoot a 12-arrow match, and it's going to add up every point, and that's going to decide the winner. Whereas in a World Archery event, like you'd see the World Cup or the Olympics, they're going to shoot set system. So if Mackenzie shot a 30 on the first set and Rachel shot a 29, Mackenzie would get 2 points and Rachel would get 0. If the next set they both shot 30, then they would split those and they'd go 1-1, and they play till 6 set points. So they shoot 5 ends potentially, and here it's 4. So it is just a little bit different, but you start to see that separation a little more, and every arrow matters a little more in cumulative scoring.
Yeah, just like this one right here is Mackenzie Brown puts up 11-11 in that 9. Rachel's got a good points all. Oh, I thought she was working her way towards that middle.
Rachel, tell us something about your setup. I see that you're shooting Carbon Express arrows, the Nano Pro Extreme. That's a really nice arrow, same one Casey shoots. And how many pounds are you shooting?
I'm around 44 or 45 as well.
Very good. And how many arrows do you shoot peak season?
Well, unfortunately, I'm a college student, so I have to spend time with school. I gotta pay to go to the tournament, so I gotta work a little bit. And so I only get to do maybe around 200 a day, 6 days a week.
Okay.
I would love to do more.
Well, great job. Let's give her a hand trying to balance her education and training. Okay, with 1 end to go, Mackenzie Brown 92, Rachel has 80.
Steve, how many arrows do you shoot in a day?
If I shoot, maybe 60.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. A really good compound day is, for me, is probably 90.
Yeah, I count warm-up arrows too, so
Oh,
I
yeah,
get
me
66.
too. 100%. It's just a different ball game. Let's talk about holding weight. Rob mentioned holding weight. And, you know, on a compound bow, we talk about, oh, we're pulling back 60 pounds. But when the cams roll over, we have let off, don't we?
Right.
And so, like, you know, we're actually holding anywhere between, say, maybe 12 and 22 pounds, depending on the archer.
Yeah. And with a recurve, they're holding full weight. So, you know, Mackenzie, I don't know what her draw length is. I'm going to guess like 29 inches. Those limbs, if they say 40 pounds on the limb, that's marked at a 28-inch draw length. So for Mackenzie, that would stack up the weight a little bit as she gets past that. She might be holding, that's where she might get 44 pounds or so.
Yeah.
So they would call it on the fingers weight. And so what your limb is marked at doesn't really equate to what you're holding. So Mackenzie said she's holding 44 pounds on the fingers.
Yep.
And they're also shooting without a magnified sight. Their lens, if they're using one, is a 0 power. It's just a much different game. They don't have the mechanical advantage that compound does.
Rachel, nice shooting. I hope that your experience has been a good one, and I hope you're able to join us next year. You take home 4th place and $500 for your efforts today, and hope you'll be back next year.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. Let's give Rachel a hand. Our next competitor is from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Somebody that I know quite well, Casey Caulfield. Casey's been shooting competitively since she's 8. She is a 2020 Olympic hopeful, leading in the Olympic trials right now. She has 2 golds and a bronze at the Pan Am Games this summer. And Casey, would you like to shoot right or left stage?
I'll shoot left stage, please.
Okay, and first or second?
First.
These two are long-distance best friends, and Mackenzie's been somebody that Casey's looked up to since she was a little girl. It's quite a special relationship.
So here we go. This is a match we've been waiting for all weekend long. Casey Caulfield, of course, like Rob said, leading the Olympic qualifier right now. And I think Casey's probably the only information Rob didn't have to actually read.
I think he's got that one down to heart.
10.
Good start with the 10. I think the hardest part about this match for Casey is that her dad is the MC down there. She just doesn't know what he might say.
Well, you know, last year she did give him a one-word answer, and she giggled.
That was it.
I saw her earlier in the weekend, and she said, Rob said, don't give me a one-word answer. You need to give me more than that. And she smiled about it.
We'll see what we get here. Off to a decent start, 10-9. Mackenzie takes the 1-point advantage right there. And it is a big advantage to come out in a recurve, and Mackenzie's already had 12 arrows downrange. She's gotten sighted in. Casey's got to come out and adjust to the light, and she's got to adjust quickly. So starting with a 10 really helped her. You don't want to go back-to-back 9s. She needs to get on target, and then she maintains pace with Mackenzie.
They are fierce competitors. Let me tell you, both of these gals want to win this bad, and I know that. Casey, let's talk about your equipment first, okay? This bow, it's a brand new Formula XI from Hoyt with the Velos limbs, an Excel sight, a Shibuya aperture, V-bar, and rest, biter plunger, Conquest kind of Olympic team type USA rods. And your finger tab?
It is a Elite AAE tab.
Elite tab. And you're shooting Carbon Express SST nano arrows for indoors. And what draw weight do you shoot?
I shoot a little less than 40 pounds.
Okay, and how many arrows do you shoot in a typical summer day?
On summer, try to get 300, but now since I'm doing school, about 200.
Very good. Okay, after one end, we've got a tie. 29-29. Let's give them a hand.
So back at it for our second scoring end of 4, cumulative scoring. Archer shooting 20 yards downrange, and both choosing our 3-spot as opposed to single spot target to shoot.
Another good 10 from Casey there.
Small ring in the middle, of course, worth 11 points. And then 10, 9, 8, and out, and so on. So you can see Mackenzie put that in the 9 ring.
10.
And you'll see shot timing with a recurve is so important. An extended hold, they really start to break down. They just fatigue, and then their aim goes away. So Casey had a nice, 1 to 2 second hold there. Mackenzie shoots a little bit different technique and might hold just slightly longer. But what you want to notice is that what they typically do on good shots, and when they don't do that, you see where, arrows end up landing a little further away from center.
Mm-hmm.
Every archer's got their own rhythm and flow. Good 30
11.
for Casey. Mackenzie keeps it close.
Good shot there, Mac. Casey. Can you speak to those who have helped you along the journey that you're on?
Yeah, you have helped, and so thank you for that. And Heather and my mom and Dick Tone in Arizona and all of the USA teammates, they help me a lot and inspire me every day.
Okay, thank you. Let's give these two a hand. I've been told that we have in excess of 2,000 people all over the world watching this, and we're thankful for you joining us as well. We have a 59-58 lead. Casey has a 1-point lead.
That was funny. That was good.
So Casey's word count this year has
Quadrupled from last year.
Yeah, it eclipsed last year's really quickly.
As we take a look at Casey Caulfield lining up for her shot, one thing I want to say about Mackenzie Brown is, in having a conversation with her and asking her about her life, Steve, is she really feels like things are starting to come into play. Her life, her personal life is very settled right now. She's very happy. The way she's working with her coaches and the things that she wants is good. Let's talk about that, because he shoots so quick, about how important it is to have your mental game around and outside of archery dialed in at this level.
Yeah, and it can be, there's a good 10 from Casey. It can be very tough, especially with the recurvers. A lot of them go to Olympic Training Center and their life just totally gets flipped on its head. They went from being a kid to all of a sudden they're full-time training for archery, and that can be very difficult. So a lot of them see, a negative response to that initially, and then, like Mackenzie's saying, she's kind of got it figured out. She's in a good place. And got a great shot. Yeah, good one there. Really helps make up for that initial 8. Looks like a 10. Yep.
Mackenzie, I'll ask you the same question. Your archery life is an important part of who you are and what you do, but having balance in life is very important. Who's helped you along your journey? Yours is quite a bit longer than Casey's is.
Yeah, I've had a long career, and I don't think that there's been anyone more supportive than my family. My mom and my dad have always pushed me to achieve all the dreams that I can ever think of or want. So they've been really supportive. I've also been really supported by Coach Lee, and then Chris Webster, who was just added on to our coaching program at the RA Training Center. So they've been really supportive throughout my journey.
Great. Let's give Mackenzie a hand. Okay, we have one end to go. 88, 86, 2 points. Very close. This is recurve archery.
There's a good look at Casey Caulfield on her release, and Stevie talked about it. You can just see when those archers have a good one. Back to live shots.
9.
So Casey's arrows tend to skew towards the right. She's a left-handed shooter. You can see that sometimes. You might see Mackenzie's skewing towards the left. As you can see on her bottom target, her furthest arrow away from the center is out to the left. Fairly common for a right and left-handed shooter to do what they're doing here. Casey's making some sight adjustments now. She feels like not her fault sitting to the right, so she's getting zeroed in.
10.
Tied up.
All tied up.
106 to 106.
Final arrows.
Yep.
11.
That was big for Casey.
That was such a big 11. Let's get to Rob.
Mackenzie, that was a close match. You can't ask for one closer than that. Third place, $1,000. Thank you again for coming to the Classic. You come for many years, been up here on the stage for many years. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again next year.
You definitely will be back.
Let's give Mackenzie Brown a hand. Okay, our first place qualifier, Ana Rendon from Medellin, Colombia, shooting for 24 years. She is 3-time Olympian and has a silver medal at the Pan Am Games. One of the international competitors from 28 countries here at the Lancaster Archery Classic. Ana Maria, would you like to shoot right or left? Okay, and first or second?
First.
Okay, shooting first from the left lane.
All right, Steve, here we go. This is it. This is for the title of Women's Recurve Champion here at the 2020 Lancaster Archery Classic. Total of 924 points available to shoot for this Women's Recurve, and Ana Rendon scored 861 of those points, and on her way shot 33 11s.
Shooting really good. We just saw an absolutely clutch 11 by Casey to get into this first place final, and I think she's going to be carrying that. That's huge momentum for her. She's warmed up. Anna's got to come in, and she does. She comes in. Looks like that's an 11-liner.
It does look like an 11-liner. Yeah, Rob just called it an 11 as he sees it, but of course we have judges down there to take a look. You know, Steve, I had a chance to talk to Casey Caulfield about the pressure of coming to this tournament because everybody knows the last name. Everybody knows her parents own Lancaster Archery Supply. And she said there is definitely pressure, and she knows it, she feels it. And she also said to me, which was interesting, is that people continuously walk up to her during this tournament and say, I just want to say thank you and thank your family for a great tournament. And she says it makes her feel weird because she doesn't have a whole hand in this and wants everybody to tell her family and tell the people that work at LAS about it. But Recurve's a quick shoot.
Yeah, really good start for Anna. Need a good 10 or 11 here from Casey.
10.
Gets 10.
2 points.
Ana Maria's first shot is an 11-10 liner. We'll have to wait for the judge call. Welcome. I think this is your first year to the Classic. What do you think so far?
Well, actually, it's my second year. 2 years ago it was the first one, but this is the first here in the finals, so I'm so glad to be here.
Well, congratulations. You have quite a history as a 3-time Olympian. Was that the last 3 Olympics?
Yes, was the last 3, and I already got the spot for Tokyo.
Congratulations. Let's give her a hand. Okay, let's see how things shake out here. We got a 2-point lead, 31-29.
So again, Steve, what's being explained now is something different from other formats that we see.
So Anna gets to choose whether she shoots first or second as the leading archer, whereas if this was an Olympic match or a World Cup match, Casey would lead the shooting. So it's a little different here. Big advantage to the leading shooter. Casey getting a point back on her, though.
Yep.
1-point match now.
Ana Rendon, we're looking at right now, has been spending some time in the States with the Wiffler family, Chris Wiffler, Alex Wiffler, and then makes her way to this tournament, something she did a couple years ago when she first came to this match.
11.
Big 11 for Casey. That was huge. You know, if you're Anna, you shoot the 11, and then it gets matched, you're kind of a little bit deflated, so. She's got a little shake now. A little bit of breakdown in the strength.
10.
Still able to
Still got a
capitalize.
10 out of it. That's
But
Pretty solid.
an 11 here from Casey, and this crowd's going to go nuts.
11-10.
Just out top.
Shooting ladies, I'll ask you the same question. How many pounds are you shooting?
40.
Okay, and how many arrows do you shoot in a typical day, summer training?
300, 400, depend of the competition time, competition season, so depend of that.
Well, welcome to the Lancaster Archery Classic stage. At the halfway point here, it looks like we've got a tie score, 61-61. Let's give these gals a hand. Wow.
This is exactly the situation that you want to see if you're a fan. Women's recurve, the final two shooters to be decided champion.
Yeah, we got a dead heat. Casey tied it with that 11, just bit. It was close, but just got a piece of it. I can see it through the binoculars.
Steve, what kind of pressure is it? You know, when we're shooting on the range and qualifying, it's just you shoot, and you know, you may get to look at the score after we score arrows, but here it's announced every single time. How can you tune that out, or do you just have to live with it?
You just kind of, you shouldn't change anything you're doing, but you do know what's happening. You are cognizant of it, and now I'm looking back at the scores. It looks like maybe it was a 10 on Casey's last arrow.
Oh, it was,
I don't know
yeah,
for sure, but
they must have changed it right
yeah,
there
that's
at
what
the
it looks
last
like
moment.
here.
Yep.
11!
Big one.
But then there's that. So now it looks like we're pretty
Now
good.
we're
with
dead
the
heat. Yeah.
Casey, somebody online is asking about the bananas on your back.
So a good friend of mine, we did a mixed team event for nationals, and our team name was Furious George. And so we had a shirt with like an angry monkey on the back and the bananas, because why not? So, yeah.
That's quite the story. Well, congratulations. You both are shooting very well. Oh, it looks like there was some line calls there. It appears as though it's tie at 91-91, although I see the judge making a call. So we'll wait for the official call, see if there's a change.
So we're looking at our score.
I think it's still tied.
Bottom part of your screen, so you can see clearly you're going 31, 30, 30, 29 to 31, so 91 apiece.
3 arrows to go.
3 years to go. If you're not on the edge of the seat, you need to grab yourself a cup of coffee and pay attention, because this one is coming down to it. Women's recurve 2020 champion on the line.
You see a lot of head shake by Ana there. Good shot through it. That's called trusting your shot.
It is.
Shooting through your process.
11.
Matches it.
Toe to toe, they're duking it out.
This is awesome.
Ana Rendon right now setting the tone.
She knew it. She didn't love that one. She's lucky to get a 9 out of it.
Second shot clock, 20 yards downrange, final arrow, no choice. Ana Marie's really got to put this thing in the middle for a chance.
9.
9.
Casey's got a good mental reset. Watch how strong she gets through the clicker on this last arrow.
10.
No shake.
Wow, no shake.
Champion.
There it is. Casey Caulfield, your champion.
Ana Maria, second place. Very nice payout, $2,000 for your trip to Lancaster. I hope you come back.
See, I'll definitely come back.
Congratulations, great shooting.
Thank you.
Have a hand for Ana Maria. Thank you. Awesome job, Case. Way to go. Okay. $4,000, first place, women's recurve. I know This was a goal of yours for many years. You've been second twice here?
3 times.
3 times you've been second? Okay. If you would, go back and have a few words with PJ.
Okay, thank you.
Way to go, hon. Let's have a hand for Casey Caulfield.
You can see the emotion there, Steve. Of course. I mean, it's not just.
For a short interview, but the Olympic trials process, there are 2 trials left.
It wasn't just with this win. It was all the pressure of having the name of finishing second. Unbelievable. Here's the march up. You can see the matches that we had. Casey Caulfield winning against Mackenzie Brown, and then Ana Rendon, our #1 qualifier, to take that shoot-up final. And of course, PJ Riley is with our new women's recurve champion.
All right, Casey, this was a big goal. You wanted this one bad. Tell us how it feels.
Yeah, so being second the past couple of years, it's been a big goal of mine to finally win, and I've been working really hard this past year to finally get here, and I'm just so grateful that it all paid off.
Tell me about that last end. You pulled it out when you needed to.
Yeah, I was definitely nervous, shaking a lot, but just took it back to the roots and made a good shot, and it worked out all right.
All right, Casey, congratulations, women's recurve champ.
Thank you.
Unbelievable stuff, putting up a 32 when she needed to. Casey Caulfield, your new champion.
15 years old.
15 years old, unbelievable. Men's recurve on the other side of this. The big names in the sport, Brady Ellison, coming up. Don't go anywhere.
From the world's most challenging archery tournaments to the bow hunter's heart-pounding moment of truth, America's best bowstrings are designed to improve your bow's performance. With rigorous product testing and extreme attention to detail. Experience the best custom threads on the planet, and you'll understand why we say peace of mind is priceless.
Announcing the new patent-pending Carbo Flax stabilizers. A biocomposite blend of carbon and flax. Flax plant yields a natural fiber with very advanced properties. Flax offers 3 times the vibration dampening of glass and 20% more than carbon. Natural composites are up to 15% lower weight than carbon fiber. True-Ball Excel. We make archery better.
That's a good feeling to know I can make this bow do whatever I want it to do and it will react. This thing is just so much more stable and it just controls an arrow so well. The coolest part about it is all you need is a Torx wrench and a couple of Allen wrenches and you can just stand there on the line. You don't have to run in and put it in the press and move those shims. This is a dream to work with right now.